Right, that's good. I've been trying to get my phone to balance on a precarious piece of straw. I thought it was about time we did the Q2 financial update. So I'm here with my assistant, Gypsy, and quite a few other members of the sheep gang, which you can't see, but I'll show you at the end. Just a quick recap, obviously, just for the sake of transparency, just to let you know what the numbers are like and how it's looking financially. It's important to keep you guys updated, because if it wasn't for you guys, there wouldn't be a sanctuary. So if you cast your mind back to Q1 financial update, you'll remember that we made a £15,000 loss in the first 3 months of this year. It was actually 15.7, but I was looking on the bright side when I said it was 15. On the back of that, we had a very kind supporter who offered us £15,000 in matched funding, and so we put out a big appeal at the beginning of Q2, and amazingly you guys came through and we actually raised and exceeded the £15,000 that we needed to get the match funding. So that was amazing. The 15 match funding we've had, so that's covered the loss for Q1, so that's an amazing result. Moving into Q2, we start to see the impact of the continuing increase of hay prices. So I've written the numbers down because I can't remember them. So April this year, being the first month of Q2, donations came in at 35.1, and I'll come back to that number and tell you why it's so high in a minute. Expenses were 31.3, so we're actually up £3.8 thousand in April. In May, income or donations rather was 24.9, expenses 27.7, so we were down 2.8. In June, donations 24.7 and outgoings 32.3, with some particularly high hay prices there. So that made a £7.6 thousand loss. In some months you get 5 feed bills, in some months you get 4 feed bills. It just depends how the weeks fall. So some months the expenses kind of jig about, and that's why it's difficult to look at things on a monthly view. You have to take a longer term view to see what's really going on. Now, harking back to April, the reason why April's figure was so high, £10,000 more income than May and June, was because, of course, that fundraiser. So all the monies from that fundraiser were coming in, not the matching part, but the actual people donating to the GoFundMe. All that money, most of it came in during April. So, which is great, but that means that overall in Q2, when you add all those 3.8 minus 2.8 minus 7.6 comes to 6,000. I know, I've got it sorted. Comes to 6,600 down for the quarter. So with losses of 6,500 just over for Q2. Which, okay, we've covered the loss in Q1, but when you think about it, that loss of 6.6 also includes the other 15 of match funding, of the original donations for the match funding during those months. Now, some of that money would have been given anyway, and it's gone into the matching scheme to be doubled up, but some of it was given specifically because funds were being matched. That's why the number in April jumps up so much. Now, you don't have to jump up. She's gone. You're going to step in, are you? So that's where we are. So down 6.6 for Q2. The most significant thing is that hay prices are not forecast to come down. The harvest this year is in process as I speak, and across the country I think the yield on hay is slightly higher than it was last year, but it's still rubbish compared to previous years because of the particularly dry spring we had this year. Now, the double whammy is that we had a particularly bad spring last year, hay was short, all the reserves got used up. This year there won't be those reserves to fall back on because they've already gone. So the danger is when we hit winter 26-27, there's going to be a real shortage of hay, and a lot of people are going to be struggling to try and find the hay. The big bales that we have in are called Heston bales. They're big 6-string bales of hay. Last year the prices were as low at the beginning of the year, which was before the drought happened, as low as £50 for a bale, but typically they were about 60, 70, £75 a bale. During the winter just gone, we have paid, the most we paid was £180 for a bale, which was a ridiculous price. but most of it was coming in about 120, 130. We've even paid 140 for them. We have just secured a supply with a farmer for this year's crop, capped at £100 a bale. And there's a project coming up, which I'm going to talk about in another video, called the 350 Club, and I'll be explaining all about that later, hopefully with some assistance from some friends. So there we are, down 6.6 for Q2, and this is a big operation. There are a huge number of animals here, and hay is the most significant feed. That's why it's really important. We're really grateful for all your support. Fantastic. We couldn't do this without you. There wouldn't be an animal sanctuary if it wasn't for you guys. So I'll keep posting updates, and I'll be in touch shortly about the 350 Club. Thanks for watching, and as promised, here's the rest of the gang relaxing in the cool. The fields are, I'll turn the camera around, hang on. The fields are actually open, but obviously it's quite warm today. It's not as hot as it has been. He's just making some adjustments to that gate hanger there, you see. But it's still quite nice in the sun, and it's even nicer in the shade. So, thanks for watching. Speak to you later.